You're now watching Colorado State University's student-run campus television, Channel 25, weeknights from 8 to midnight.
We all went into the season knowing that we better get somebody to be number two, because if Justin goes out with a sprained ankle or a good hit and he's out for a couple of series, we better have a guy ready to go.
The Rams get a much-needed win but suffer their biggest loss of the season when Justin Holland breaks his leg in the first quarter against San Diego State. The Rams will now have to rely on true freshman Caleb Haney, who helped lead the Rams to victory on Saturday. Good evening and welcome to Sportsfest. Right alongside Doug Starkey, I'm Brooke Schledowitz.
We'll have more on Holland's injury later in the show, but we begin with the volleyball team as they play the Utah Utes for the top spot in the Mountain West Conference. CSU entered Friday night ranked 7th in the nation with a 22-match winning streak against conference opponents. Will the Utes break that record and walk away from Moby Arena victorious for the first time since 1976? To Friday we go. We begin in Game 1, and Dre Downs with the big kill, giving CSU the 6-4 lead. Tied at 13 until Melissa Courtney gets her first of two service aces against the Utes. 21-18 CSU's lead, and don't mess with Katie Jo Cahoon because she'll put it down. Cahoon finished the night with 18 kills, including this one, which gave the Rams a 30-27 Game 1 victory. After losing Game 2, CSU would trail Utah most of the Game 3 until Tess Rogers gives the Rams their first lead of the game, 17-16. Tied at 30 now until Dre Downs gets the kill, putting the Rams on top by 30-31. CSU with a chance to win, but Bree Freck serves it into the net and then ties the game back at 31. Tied at 32 until Casey Bauer with the wicked kill and gets pumped up. The Utes would come back to tie it at 35, and Tess Rogers gets denied, giving Utah the 36-35 lead, as Utah would go on to win Game 3 and eventually defeat the Rams 3-1. The Rams drop to 5-1 in conference play and give the top spot in the Mountain West to the Utah Utes. Katie Jo Cahoon led CSU with 18 kills, and Utah's Shelly Sommerfeld led the team with 16 kills, followed closely by Lindsey Henderson, who had 15 kills against the Rams.
Very effectively, and I think genuinely what happened was our hitters, especially our outside hitters, kind of changed their game a little bit. And we really can't afford to do that.
We knew they had a big block. They're one of the, top 6 blocking teams. We needed to be more prepared in digging up that block, digging up the ball.
We know now that we need to play against a big block, and
they're coming in to be a good team.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a good match tomorrow night.
Well, Utah came up with the big upset the Rams weren't about to lose 2 in a row. So when BYU came into town, CSU was ready. On Saturday, the Lady Rams were back in regular form. Not only were they rallying for a win, but they were rallying on the court too. They catch BYU off guard and set up a sweet kill for Katie Jo Cahoon. BYU came back at the Rams, though, with a service ace from Lauren Richards. Can you say cheap shot? Later, Tess Rogers was quick to show the Cougars how a real service ace is done. Rams win Game 1, 30-21. And in Game 2, CSU is throwing a block party, and Cahoon was the center of attention after she hits another kill. The Rams kept on rolling and blocking right into the second game win, which ended in a 30-24 decision. Now in Game 3, CSU serves it up. shuts down the BYU attack, and Dr. Dre Downs comes up big and puts the ball away. BYU posed no threat to the Rams in game number 3 as Tess Rogers slams the ball into the Cougars' court to complete the win for CSU. During the game, Tess Rogers led the Rams with 15 kills and 2 solo blocks. It should also be noted that she hit a season-high .737. Dre Downs was also instrumental in the win, tallying a total of 9 kills on the night. After the weekend, the Rams now have a 6-1 conference record in conference play and an overall record of 14-2.
Obviously, it's great to win this match, and I felt like we controlled it from the beginning, and that's, what we want to do. We want to side out well, and by doing that, by not giving up runs of points, we could expose some of the problems that BYU might have.
I think all of us felt more comfortable tonight. I think the best thing is we were just more relaxed, and we were playing how the Rams know how to play. We were coming back together. It just felt much more comfortable tonight.
The maturity of our team to turn around from last night was kind of a big loss for us, and to turn around and just dominate like we did tonight really shows that we can refocus and that we're going to learn from what happened against Utah, and it's going to make us a better team.
Although CSU swept Wyoming on Saturday night, the match against Utah determined who would take control of the Mountain West Conference. Utah remains undefeated at 7-0 and moves up in the rankings to number 14, while CSU is now 6-1 and dropped to number 9 in the nation. UNLV and BYU are both 4-3, and Wyoming and San Diego State are the complete opposite of that. New Mexico only has 1 win, and pulling up the rear is Air Force, who is winless in the Mountain West.
After going 1-1 this past weekend, the Rams are ready to take their show on the road and are hoping to build another long winning streak. On Friday, the Rams will head to Albuquerque, New Mexico to take on the UNM Lobos. Then on Saturday, the Rams will be in Colorado Springs for their second match against the Air Force Falcons. Both games start at 7 p.m.
The loss to Utah on Friday night was the second loss of the season and broke the Rams' 22-match winning streak against conference opponents. That got our stat boy thinking and came up with the random Ram fact of the week. Question is, to whom did CSU volleyball team lose their last Mountain Conference match? We'll have that answer for you later in the show.
We've got to take a short break, but when we return, we'll have more on Justin Holland's injury and the freshman quarterback who will have to fill his shoes.
Plus, after winning this weekend, the Rams are looking forward to their next match against Wyoming. Coming up, we'll have the preview of this year's Border War. Stay tuned.
The Career Center, located in Ammons Hall on campus, is your best source for job search assistance, offering services ranging from employer information sessions to on-campus interviews. The Career Center will work with you to find the job of your dreams. Helping every level of student, the Career Center has resources including a new cyber cafe, individualized career counseling, resume advice, internship assistance, and interview skill training, all to get you on the right job path. Start finding the job you want right now. Visit the Career Center, located in Ammons Hall on the CSU Oval.
Hello, I'm Dexter Yarbrough, Chief of Police of the Colorado State University Police Department. The CSU PD is a full-service law enforcement agency devoted to the welfare of the university community. We work hand-in-hand with our students, faculty, and staff to promote the educational and occupational experiences of all. For further information, feel free to contact us at 491-6425. And also, we're located here on campus in Green Hall. Thank you.
For all the highs, and the lows, for every victory from around the Mountain West and the rest of the NCAA. Your only source for CSU Ram sports. CTV Sportsfest.
the best of times and the worst of times for the Rams on Saturday. Despite the loss of quarterback Justin Holland, the Rams were somehow able to grab their second win of the season. To Qualcomm Stadium for the highlights. The Rams went into San Diego knowing that they needed to win. In the first quarter, SDSU got the ball first, but it did not last for long. Patrick Goodpaster sacks Matt DeLu-Galecki for a loss, and the Aztecs go 3 and out. So does CSU. But if you remember that sack in SDSU's first drive, this one felt even better. The Aztecs go 3 and out, but later DeLu-Galecki actually stayed on his feet and got the ball over to Jeff Webb. That catch would help to set up a 48-yard field goal attempt by Garrett Palmer, which he just barely makes good, getting it right inside the left goal post. Take a long look at this next play because it's the last pass that Holland will throw for the rest of the season. He breaks his leg during the play and leaves the Rams without their starting QB. But just moments later, CSU gets it done without even needing their own quarterback. DeLu-Galecki is complete to Luke Adkins, and he takes it all the way down the field for a 71-yard return. You can bet that one felt real good. The Aztecs get the ball back, and DeLu-Galecki gets it to Jeremy Justice, who does his team a little justice, setting up a Palmer field goal that is blocked by Jonathan Simon. And now for the real question of the day. Who's Justin Holland's backup? Caleb Haney, a true freshman, took over for the Rams but hands the ball off on his first play, and the Rams were forced to punt it away. Into the second quarter, it was apparent that the Rams have been working on their run defense. SDSU did, however, get in field goal range once again and would make it through. Third time's the charm. Palmer makes the score 7-6. Next up, it was Haney's impression of Bradley Van Pelt. He takes the ball for a little run up the gut, trying to prove that he could get it done. A few plays later, it was Haney again, this time through the air and into the arms of Joel Dreesen in the end zone. CSU takes a 14-6 lead. On the next Ram drive, Haney was showing off again. He completes the pass to Corey Sperry, which helps to set up another Babcock field goal attempt. But this time, it's no good. The Rams go into the half, down a quarterback, but up by 8 points.
The score remained 14-6 throughout the third, but on the first play of the fourth quarter, Kevin O'Connell throws 58 yards to Jeff Webb, who barely stays up, making it a 14-12 game. However, San Diego decides to go for the 2-point conversion, and Robert Ortiz is wide open, tying the game up at 14. Caleb Haney trying to get something going, but he gets one sack here, and another sack there, and a third sack here, and then he throws an interception. The good news is that was CSU's only turnover of the game. Bad news is that interception led to a 27-yard field goal to make it a 17-14 game. Later in the fourth, San Diego State with the ball on their own 10-yard line, and Michael Franklin fumbles. CSU recovers, and 2 plays later, Jimmy Green would punch his way through for the touchdown. After the extra point, it's now a 21-17 CSU lead. With 1 second left on the Rams' 41, the Aztecs only have one option.
O'Connell rolls out, rolls to the end zone. Ball in the air, and
they had a chance.
Through the hands.
Oh my! Devin Pitts.
The Rams defeat the Aztecs 21-17 as CSU evens their conference record at 1-1. Caleb Haney stepped up and placed Justin Holland, completing 12 of 19 for 115 yards with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Jimmy Green had 51 yards on the ground with 1 TD, and San Diego State's Jeff Webb had 129 yards with 1 touchdown of his own.
Injuries are never good news, especially when they happen to your star quarterback. And this Saturday, Justin Holland's dream of leading the CSU football team was put on hold for yet another year. Holland, who suffered a broken fibula in the first quarter when he was sandwiched by Antoine Applewhite and Blake LaBelle, had surgery today. This means that he will officially miss the remainder of the season. In his first year as a starter, Holland was ranked 3rd in the nation for passing yards with 1,604 under his belt. He had also thrown 6 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. At his weekly press conference earlier today, head coach Sonny Lubick spoke about the impact Justin Holland will have on the team for the rest of the season.
Justin will be he'll be a very integral part of our team. A lot of guys get injured and they kind of, I don't know why they get this or where they get. I hope it's not from us. They get like they just fade into the background. But I love to see them come on the sidelines with us in the locker room, come to pregame meal. Those kids that are so well respected and admired. And I think that's where Justin, we'll keep him as close as possible. But
On Saturday against San Diego State, Caleb Haney made his second appearance of the season after Justin Holland went out early. The 6'2", 230-pound true freshman out of Forney, Texas, was the district offensive most valuable player and an All-State honorable mention as a senior. Haney is a physical run-pass threat at quarterback and has been compared to Bradley Van Pelt due to his size and his arm strength. When Haney takes his first snap on Friday night against Wyoming, he will become the first true freshman at Colorado State since Mark Miller in 1981 to start a game for the Rams. And head coach Sonny Lubick explains more about CSU's new starting quarterback.
Caleb is, when we left the stadium, I felt better about Caleb. I didn't see, you don't see a guy in practice is one thing, but I felt a lot better. And Caleb's he is going to be okay, and he might be better than okay. He might hit a couple deep balls they're not expecting us to throw. He can throw the football, and he's smart, and he's a tough kid.
You know, Doug, it's going to be interesting to see how Caleb Haney does in the coming weeks. He did great on Saturday, but can he do it again? That's going to be the real test.
I totally agree, Brooke. Haney just got kind of thrown into a game not too many people expected CSU to win, but 115 yards with 1 touchdown. It's not a bad start for a true freshman.
Yeah, that's for sure.
This weekend, Haney will be in the center of one of CSU's longest-standing rivalries when the Wyoming Cowboys come into town. And CTV reporter Zach Borg has the preview.
Could be the last play. Van Pelt steps up in the pocket. He's loading up for the Hail Mary. It's out there for all to see, and it's knocked down. Incomplete. This game is over. The Cowboys have beaten the Rams.
After several years of border war dominance, the Colorado State Ram football team fell in Wyoming last season, thus leaving an empty space in the trophy case where the bronze boot had previously been. The boot will return to Fort Collins on Friday night when the Cowboys come in from Laramie. The only question is, will it be here to stay?
That is the week where we bring back every alumni we can grab to speak to the kids after practice. And we pointed at the boot, and we pointed at that game as a game that would be huge for us to win in our program. So the border war is on again.
With last year's Wyoming hero Casey Bramlett gone, the Cowboys' offense is now in the hands of his younger brother Corey, who is currently the conference's 5th best passer with 1,086 yards. Yielding an average of 13 points per game, the Wyoming defense is much improved under the leadership of senior linebacker Zach Morris, who is one of 34 Colorado natives hungry to return home and defend the boot.
Me as a Colorado guy, I get fired up for that game every time, especially now that it's going to be in Colorado and it's going to be my senior year. I'm really excited for that game.
Wyoming visits Hughes Stadium for the first time since 2002 when CSU won 44-36. And Colorado State will hope to duplicate that outcome Friday night as opposed to a repeat of last year.
That loss last year was real tough, and we definitely don't want that to happen again. So I think everyone's going to go really hard this week for practice, and I mean, that's just something that we can't let happen again.
For CTV Sports, this is Zach Borg.
Game time is scheduled for 7:30 on Friday night and will be broadcasted on ESPN2. If by chance you can't watch the TV broadcast, tune in to AM 600 KCOL.
It's once again time for us to take a break, but we will have plenty of sports coming your way, including highlights from this weekend's matchups from around the Mountain West.
Plus, basketball season officially began over the weekend. We've got the event when we return.
The Laurie Student Center is the place to be. It's the place for taking care of business and the place to buy and sell textbooks. It's the place for staying connected, student organizations, leadership programs, and more, all right here. It's the place to eat. It's the place for entertainment. There's always something happening at the LSC. Movies, art exhibits, and special performances. Check it out online. The Laurie Student Center is definitely the place to be.
The verdict regarding the future of the Sigma Pi fraternity house that Samantha Speaker's body was found in was released earlier today.
Students were arrested in conjunction with this weekend's riots. 3 CSU students were arrested for Friday night's riot on
This week, wildfires ravaged Fairburn County. Police called firefighters to work around the clock and residents to be back. ASCC President Kate Costa discusses what we know. And I'm Audrey, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Run Radio. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Zero commercials.
Turn it up! Turn it up!
90.5 KCSU.
90.5.
This is your student-run radio.
It is your student-run radio station.
On your FM dial. Run by students, for students. It's 90.5 KCSU.
Legion Classifieds, how may I help you?
Place it, find it, buy it, sell it, rent it. All this and more with the Rocky Mountain Collegian Classifieds, as low as $4.50 a day. Call 491-1686, 491-1686.
Believe it or not, it's basketball time, and this weekend both the men's and women's teams brought the community together to celebrate the beginning of the season. The Colorado State basketball teams have gone mad for the beginning of their seasons, and on Saturday night it was all about fun and games at this year's version of Midnight Madness.
Just a great event for the students and the community to come out and support us.
In celebration of the beginning of basketball season, the night started out with an entertaining dunk contest. Then later it was the men against the women in a three-point shootout. The fans even got involved trying to win prizes, but the basketball players still stole the show. And they had so much fun, it was hard to choose a clear highlight of the night.
It would have been the dunk contest, but I fell on my face. So I would have to say the three-point contest. When I got everybody out here having fun, it's just a great night.
Midnight Madness has been a staple at many universities, and it wasn't until last year that CSU joined in on the tradition. The tradition of Moby Madness, in fact, started just 1 year ago after the men's team made it to the NCAA tournament. And this year, both teams have once again set high expectations for themselves.
I think we've got high expectations. If we can stay healthy, I think we got a chance to be a very, very good basketball team.
Both the men and the women are now practicing in preparation for their seasons, a sure sign that the madness is just beginning. CSU's basketball teams will begin exhibition play at the beginning of November, then we'll get the regular season rolling around Thanksgiving.
With the exception of Air Force, every Mountain West team played this weekend, and we begin with New Mexico at UNLV. First quarter action, New Mexico on UNLV's 8, and Dontrell Moore gets the pitch and walks in for the touchdown. 7-0 Lobos after the extra point. In the second, Rebels with the 10-7 lead as Shane Steichen finds Irvin Johnson for the 47-yard touchdown, and UNLV would take the 10-point lead. UNLV up by 7 midway through the third until Marcus Smith runs to the outside and takes it 65 yards for the touchdown. After the extra point, it's all tied up at 17. But the Lobos aren't done yet because on their next possession, Cole McCamey finds Anthony Carter with no coverage, and New Mexico would go on to win 24-20. Elsewhere in the Mountain West, number 10 Utah remains undefeated as they beat North Carolina 46-16, and BYU defeated Wyoming 24-13 as we take a look at the conference standings. Still sitting pretty in first is Utah with a 2-0 record, followed by Air Force and BYU, who are both 2-1. Wyoming and Colorado State have even 1-1 records, and New Mexico and UNLV are both 1-2. Finally, San Diego State closes the conference with a winless record of 0-2.
It's time for us to take another break, but don't worry. When we return, we'll have the answer to your random Ram fact.
Plus, we will fill you in on the women's golf team and the softball team. Stay tuned.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ramblers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday night. Welcome to the Ramblers. I am Travis Huntington.
I'm Tyler Kraus.
I'm Chris Dittmer. A great game this weekend.
Another huge game for the Rams.
Don't forget to tune in to the Ramblers every Tuesday night from 6 to 8 right here on 90.5 KCSU.
Because my voice should be heard.
Because it's your civic responsibility.
Because it does matter.
Because I'm ethnic.
Because I care about my country.
Because it rocks. Because it's serious.
Because it's my voice. Because it's my voice.
Because it's my voice.
Because it's my voice. Because it's my voice.
Students making 11,000 bike trips a day. Bicycle safety is important on the CSU campus. CSU Bike Patrol officers work to maintain safety and regulate bicycle traffic. They need your help. Obey all posted signs. Make sure you have a light on your bike at night. Walk your bike in dismount zones. Yield to pedestrians at all times. By doing these things, you will be maintaining bicycle safety at CSU. For more information, call 491-6425.
Last week, the women's golf team ventured to Idaho State for the Boise State Invitational. And the Lady Rams finished in second place at the event with a score of 903. CSU's Lynette Duran finished in 7th place overall with a score of 4 over par.
After winning the Mountain West Conference Championship in 2004, expectations are high for CSU softball in 2005, and the Lady Rams got their final bit of fall preparation last week at the University of Nebraska Fall Tournament. Lady Rams finished 2-2 at the tournament, splitting games with the University of Nebraska, beating the University of Kansas, and losing to the University of Nebraska at Omaha. The Rams will open the 2005 season on February 3rd against Cal Poly.
And finally, we've come to the time that you've all been waiting for. It's time to give you the answer to this week's Random Ram Fact. Just in case you forgot the question, earlier we asked, to whom did the CSU volleyball team lose their last Mountain West Conference match? The answer, BYU in 2002. The Lady Rams lost in the second round of the Mountain West Conference tournament to the Cougars 3-2. The conference tournament was played at Moby Arena that year and will be back in Fort Collins again this November.
That's it for this edition of Sportsfest. Remember to watch us every Monday night from 8 to midnight, and we promise next week we'll have our news set. But for Brooke Schledowitz, I'm Doug Starkey. Have a good night.
Good night.
For news, sports, and entertainment, you're watching Campus Television, Channel 25, weeknights from 8 to midnight.